I'm sure everyone in this church this morning has someone in their life, perhaps a friend, a family member, whom they love very much, but who does not have faith. This can be a great heartache, seeing someone we love very much not have the most precious gift of all gifts, a relationship with the one who made them, the only one who can make them happy. This heartache is especially acute for parents who have raised their children to know and to love and to serve the Lord Jesus, only to watch them grow up and drift away. This heartache, which we all experience to some degree, can easily, if we let it, turn into a kind of bitterness. Why, Lord, have you not shown yourself to my son or daughter or brother, sister, granddaughter, spouse? Why have you not made yourself known to them? Why have you not given them faith? And we can be angry at the Lord and impatient at the Lord. Perhaps we've prayed year upon year for the conversion of heart of some such person with no visible movement towards the church. If you ever felt that way, if you have someone in your life who has no faith, today's celebration of the Epiphany is for you. Today we celebrate the shining forth of Christ's light on all peoples, specifically the Gentile or non-Jewish peoples. You know, of course, that God chose to reveal himself first to the Jewish people. The other peoples of the world had to wait. But their waiting came to an end with the birth of Jesus, the light of the world, the light that shines in the darkness and the darkness cannot overcome. And not only does that light live in our world, that light shines on every single human being that God creates to guide them, just as surely as the Magi were guided to Bethlehem to meet Jesus. This light, this guiding light, does not only shine on religious people, on upstanding people, upright people. It shines on every single person because God desires to be known. And he gives every single person light to guide them to himself, to guide them to faith, to guide them to a living, transforming relationship with himself, with Jesus. We're invited to believe that today, not only for ourselves, but especially for those loved ones who do not yet believe. This light that shines upon all people shines differently for different people. It shines forth even in different measures. And we see that in the Christmas story. Think of the shepherds, those simple, humble, poor men sleeping in the fields of Bethlehem. To them was given an enormous light in the sky, a shining forth of heavenly light with heavenly choirs to guide them to Jesus in the manger. The Magi, on the other hand, were given only the dim light of a distant star. It's often the case that those who are poor in this world, those who are simple and humble, those who live in darkness and poverty and pain, see more easily the light of God shining upon them. whereas sophisticated, rich, and prosperous people have a harder time seeing that light. And the Magi had all of these worldly traits. The Magi were educated, perhaps the most educated caste in Persian society. They were extraordinarily well respected. They were wealthy, but they were restless. They were looking for something more. And that openness and that curiosity led them to follow the star on a long and hard journey. But a journey they persevered through, a journey that was worth it, a journey that took time, but led them to true peace, to true happiness, to Jesus. If you think back in your own family trees and look at your parents and grandparents, who were very often poorer and had harder lives than we do today, their faith was strong. They were like the shepherds. It was certain. God's light shone upon them so clearly and strongly, and they had an easy path to Jesus. Whereas we, our children and grandchildren, we are much richer, much more educated, lead comfortable lives. And it's much more difficult for us to see the light shining, guiding us to Jesus. Yet, that light does shine. And all of us are called this day to gaze upon that light given to us, to pray for the grace to see it more clearly and to follow it more nearly. Some of our journeys to faith are easy, others are hard, but we're all called to make that journey. And for those of us who do believe, we are meant to be guiding lights to those who do not yet believe. Next week, on Sunday, we will celebrate the baptism of the Lord. And not only his baptism, but our own. And at baptism, we are filled with the light of Jesus. We're illuminated, not just for ourselves, but to be guiding lights of faith to others. I'm sure many of you are here this morning because God shone his light to you through the life of some inspiring, faithful person who led you here, who taught you the faith, who invited you deeper. The Lord Jesus is calling you and I to be that kind of person, that kind of light to others on their journey to him. God shines his light on all peoples. We don't always see it, but it shines nonetheless. And we, like the Magi, are called to walk towards him, nearer and nearer, day by day, to offer our gifts to him, as we will this day, and receive him in his true presence, his real presence in the Eucharist, and be filled again with his light, not only for ourselves, but to be guiding lights to others as well.